We haven't seen too much Metagross in Generation 9. However, it's had a solid placement and getting top 16 at the Louisville Regional Championship in Regulation H. So let us try out a recreation of that team and seeing how well it can perform. This is a recreation of Andrew Nowak's Metagross team. Let's break it down. So the main concept of this team really focuses around the Sneasler and the coaching, because that is a very vital importance to this team. This one's actually opting to run Poison Touch as the ability, not needing the extra boost from the Unburden, it seems, with that Focus Sash being able to survive one hit guaranteed. And that Tera Flying is actually important because you do usually pair this up with a Garchomp, and then you can go for the Earthquake with your Sneasler and then coaching boost the Garchomp and go for a +1 Earthquake against your opponent without worrying about your own Sneasler taking the damage. You have a pretty standard Sneasler set otherwise. You have Dire Claw and Close Combat for the coverage. You have the coaching, which again is a very important move on this team because it's really important for the Garchomp, Metagross, and King Gambit setups. And then you have Fake Out for just a really good utility move. Next, we have the Garchomp, this one running the Life Orb and the Rough Skin. It's just a pretty standard Garchomp with Tera Steel. It's just able to do a lot of damage with its ground type coverage, one of the fastest Pokemon in this format, and really just appreciates the coaching boost from the Sneasler, because just being able to get a +1 ground coverage attack with the Life Orb really allows Garchomp to be a very, very big threat to opposing teams. Next, we have the Assault Vest Metagross. And it's just a really interesting mon here because he had the Clear Body, which prevents it from taking any stat drops like Intimidates, which is really nice. And then with that Assault Vest, Metagross has some really good bulk. The only thing that's really holding it back, the Psychic typing is a bit weird for it because it does make it weak to Pokemon like the opposing King Gambit, one of the more underrated Steel types in the format. But Metagross has been a king throughout many generations. It's very strong with a good attack stat, overall solid bulk, especially with that Assault Vest and the coaching boost, and make Metagross a really hard Pokemon to stop. Tera Flying to help out against opposing Garchomp, and again you can go for Earthquake next to your own Garchomp, which is a very nice tool. You have the Heavy Slam, which is a very powerful Steel type attack. Usually it's weight dependent, but Metagross is a pretty heavy Pokemon, so you can get like a 120 base power Heavy Slam into Pokemon like Amoonguss and other Pokemon, and it's just able to do so much damage. You have that Psychic Fangs that's able to help out against like Sneasler, again into Amoonguss, into fighting types, which is always much appreciated. Salmi Tantrum is your ground coverage to hits Pokemon like Incineroar, other fire types as well. And then Bullet Punch being able to have priority since you don't have speed control on this team. Having that extra priority with the Metagross to threaten is very solid, especially to Focus Sash mons. Once you hit the Sneasler, you can go for like a Psychic Fangs, bring them to Sash, and then Bullet Punch to always get a reliable knockout is pretty solid. Next, we have the Defiant Black Glasses King Gambit. More steals and more flying types because Garchomp coaching is one of the main modes of this team, so you want to make sure that you can utilize it safely. And yes, you had the Defiant King Gambit to scare away Intimidates, the Black Glasses to power up its Dark type attacks, and it's just a standard Swords Dance King Gambit. Otherwise, it's just running that Tera Flying option. Next, we have the Alolan Ninetales, and this is to help out with the speed. You have quite a bit of fast Pokemon with the Sneasler and Garchomp, and with that Ninetales combination, again, to threaten opposing Garchomp, which is really nice. Aurora Veil, so if you are playing a team, this team does have some great utilization of Aurora Veil because Garchomp, Metagross, and King Gambit are pretty decently bulky Pokemon. And then with that Aurora Veil, just really helps stack it up. You have the Blizzard and Freeze Dry with the Never Melt Ice and the Terra Ice that's able to do a lot of damage. And overall, just able to put on a lot of offensive pressure. And of course, having the Snow Warning is pretty nice to help out against the rain matchup, which can be difficult otherwise without the Alolan Ninetales. So a nice tool to have against Weather Wars. Magmar is the final Pokemon on this team with the Vital Spirit and the Violet. This Pokemon is able to help out with that fire coverage, being able to redirect, which is pretty solid. So you have the Swords Dance King Gambit plus the Magmar immune to Spore, which is nice with that Vital Spirit. The Violet to boost up its defenses, and Tera Flying. Again, if I didn't mention it before, you do partner it up with the Garchomp so you can Earthquake next to it. It also helps out against opposing Garchomp, which is seen can be a bit weak too. You have the Heat Wave and Follow Me, which are pretty common moves on the Magmar. The only interesting tech here is going to be the Fire Spin, and that's mainly to trap in your opponent, which is something that can be very nice because if your opponent has something unfavorable and you can go for that Fire Spin, you can maybe set up against it with like a King Gambit or Coaching Sneasler to set up your other Pokemon in the back, lock that Pokemon in with that Fire Spin, just take advantage of them not being able to do much. So it can be nice, especially with that chip damage that can build up as well. If you would like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. Rillaboom, Dragonites, Mouse Ape with Goldengo and Sneasler. Okay, so some pretty big threats with the Annihilate plus the Mousehold and then the Goldengo on top of that. What do I want to go here? So Magmar redirection's nice. I do think that this is a game I probably lead Magmar. I could do coaching stuff with Garchomp, Sneasler, which is also pretty strong against this team. Ninetales isn't too bad, but I don't think I need it per se. I like Garchomp, I like the Sneasler, I like Magmar, and I like Metagross. So I think I'm gonna go with a Garchomp Sneasler combination with Magmar in the back and Metagross. I could also lead Magmar plus the Garchomp or Sneasler, and it would actually probably Sneasler, but then again, if they lead Goldengo, I mean Magmar does beat the Goldengo probably. I don't know, it's a bit tricky because I have a few different lead options. I like the Garchomp plus the Sneasler mode because if they do lead Mouse Ape, the fact that I can just draw off a coaching immediately is pretty big. They have to respect the fake out on the... They have to respect fake out too on the Sneasler. They have to respect the close combat. So there's always mind games involved here that they have to be scared of. So it might give me some free coaching opportunities. We're gonna see Annihilate Mousehold, which is not too surprising. Okay. Versus Garchomp and Sneasler. I'm gonna go for a coaching onto my Garchomp, that's for sure. Okay, just coaching the Garchomp. And protect. I don't know if you bulk up here. Like, I would not bulk up if I was them. If I get +2 defense, I might be able to hang on from the Annihilate boosted Rage Fist. I have no idea on the calc, though. It really depends on their Annihilate set. They got to fearful of fake out. They got to be fearful of a bunch of things. We're going to protect the Garchomp. Let's see what they did in response. It is going to be a Mousehold protect. That's amazing for me. This might be bulk up from the Annihilate, though. As we get a coaching off. What's actually interesting is we saw the Garchomp was faster than the Mousehold, so I can actually double up the Mousehold and not have to worry about it too much. So we have a coaching boost. They go for a bulk up, but that's fine. Oh yeah, this is really good because now I can just go for a Dragon Claw plus a Dire Claw. I could also stomping the Mousehold slot as well. What Tera would I expect you to have though? Like, am I trying to cover for Tera flying? I'm trying to figure out like what Tera would I cover. Probably well, if it's grass, I'm Dire Clawing. So, you know what? I'm just going to double up the Mousehold with Dire Claw plus a Dragon Claw. Because unless it's Tera Fairy, and even if it's Tera Fairy, Dire Claw might get it. Dire Claw into the Mousehold. It's bulky. We get the poison, which actually affects beat up if it was a speed type for some reason. But yeah, here comes the stomping. Going to KO the Mousehold. Okay, I thought I Dragon Clawed, but stomping works too. Like both worked. I didn't think they were switching Dragonite in. All right, goodbye. We go for Drain Punch into Garchomp, which, as you can see, with the defense boost matching their attack boost, we're pretty good shape right now. We are in pretty good shape. We're going to see the leftovers on the Annihilate. Good to confirm. You got to watch out, though, because the Annihilate is still scary. I am going to probably ignore it for a bit. Can I afford to ignore it for a bit? I probably can. Because I can coach him with Sneasler and focus the other slot. Sneasler going to come in on their side. Okay. They have protect because I'm just gonna do I stomping. I think I just Dragon Claw that slot. Yeah, I just Dragon Claw that slot in case it's Tera flying to cover for it, and I just Dire Claw the Sneasler because I want to break Sash. If they protect, I mean, it just depends. Do they protect on the Sneasler? I mean, the worst Annihilate can do really is just go for a bulk up again. We get a Dire Claw off in the Sneasler. Dire Claw is being Dire Claw. We get a Dragon Claw follow up into the Sneasler, so couldn't get an attack off or coaching if they had it, but even if they had coaching, I'm not sure. Dragon Claw gonna finish off the Sneasler. Goodbye, Sneasler. Bulk up again. Yeah. Which is concerning. It is +2 Annihilate on the field, but right now, I mean, I'm looking pretty good in the position I'm in. So let's see who they bring out as the last. Is it Rillaboom? This is probably not Dragonite. Oh, it's Golden Go. Okay. I don't think they're Terra flying on this team. I don't. If there's Scarf. Oh, if there's Scarf, I actually am in a bit of trouble. I'd probably want to go Magmar if... Yeah, I'd probably want to go Magmar. We haven't seen a Tera yet. If it's Tera... That's what I'm worried about. If it's... Here's the thing. You would have probably brought Golden Go in if it was Scarf earlier, right? Because I feel like if you had Scarf on the Golden Go, you would have went for the attack. You know what? I'm coaching. I'm going for the coaching. Coaching. Boost up the attack and defense on the Garchomp again. So I think maybe we could live to annihilate Brain Punch once again. Yeah, it's not Scarf. Like, the thing is, if you had Scarf Golden Go, you were probably going to bring it out earlier so you could go for make it rain KO the Garchomp. But because you didn't, yeah. Now I'm in a good spot. Brain Punch gonna knock KO the Garchomp. Nice. Thing is, I do have to worry about the Rage Fist boost. My plan involves going for coaching with the Metagross play. They're probably going to just spam bulk ups. And if they spam bulk ups, that's fine. I think I go out into the Metagross now, and I think I'm going to go for coaching. You might be thinking, why aren't you attacking with the Garchomp? But the thing is, we're +2 versus +2. It does some decent damage, but it's nowhere near enough. Giving them the Stomping Tantrum or giving them the Rage Fist boost, I think, is not a good position for me. And then I go down to my own Life Orb, which means I'm behind. So I think I'd rather they're just going to bulk up again. I'm going to start stacking my Metagross because my Metagross can actually hit pretty hard into the Annihilate. Although we don't know their Tera, which is like the only concerning thing. Oh, they Drain Punch a Sneasler. I would have not Drain Punch a Sneasler. Wait, that works out because I can get a +2 Metagross against the Annihilate. Okay, no, that works out fine. I'll take it. I'm going to go for the Tera Flying. I'm going to go for the Psychic Fangs into the Annihilate, and I'm going to go for coaching. Let's see if they have Tera, because if they Tera, it might be like Tera Fire, and then that means Garchomp can hit them pretty hard anyway. So I think this works out regardless. They are +2, but we're about to be +2, and the Rage Fist isn't boosted, which is the important part. I've been playing around the Rage Fist this entire time and focusing on the other slot for Annihilate, so hoping that Metagross could pick up this win. And it looks like they didn't go for a Tera on their side, unless their Annihilate is super slow. Like, slower than Metagross? I don't think so. I have, like, not much speed. Protect? No, you can't really protect because I'd be getting coaching boost on top, so they can't really afford to. They have to lock in here. Probably a Drain Punch into Sneasler. Or they go for a bulk up, so, I mean, it's +3 versus +2. I'm still doing an incredible amount of damage. Like, yeah, that's a really good amount of damage to Annihilate. And I'm just going to go for a coaching again. They have 100 base power Rage Fist now, but at this point, it should be acceptable. I'm going to go for the coaching into the Metagross and go for that Psychic Fangs once again. Because if they're like Tera Steel to resist the Psychic Fangs, then that's fine. Drain Punch is not healing them enough HP right now. Maybe if they Tera and they Drain Punch the Sneasler, sure, but that's acceptable. We're going to see the Annihilate go for the Tera. It is Tera Fire, so Garchomp should be able to clean up in the end game as well. Because I don't think they're going to be able to do enough damage. But we'll see. Get the coaching, so we're +3. So yeah, we're definitely taking a base power 100 Rage Fist. I thought about Stomping Tantruming that turn, but like it's not really necessary. Okay. Annihilate gets the HP back. I think we're going to miss the knockout with Psychic Fangs, but then the Garchomp comes in and then Garchomp beats Garchomp. Yeah. Like, the Annihilate's just too low on HP at this point in the game. You know what? I'm gonna go Garchomp. They didn't let me finish. I was gonna go Garchomp. They're gonna go for the Leftovers recovery. I'm gonna Stomping Tantrum my own Metagross for fun of it. And then Stomping Tantrum the... Or I go for Stomping Tantrum with my Metagross into the Annihilate. I go for Stomping Tantrum with my Garchomp into the Metagross. Because if they protect to get Leftovers recovery, I get the double power one. Although at the end of the day, they just could not beat the Garchomp. Like, realistically, the game was over. Pelipper, Archaludon, Quaquaval, King Gambit, Rillaboom, and Dragon Ball. Okay, so this was Sempra's Global Challenge team, although I have seen different variants of it on the ladder before. So I can't say it's guaranteed, but it was sturdy choice specs on the Archaludon, Choice Scarf on the Pelipper, Focus Sash on the Quaquaval with Upper Hand, Swords Dance King Gambit, Assault Vest, Rillaboom, and Choice Banded Dragapult. I have seen them mess around with the team quite a bit though. Okay, now how to figure out the best response here. Metagross is actually pretty good other than into Gambit, which I don't know if you're going to bring Gambit against my team because I feel like Gambit's not even that good. Like, I don't think it's that great. I could bring the King Gambit on my side, but it doesn't really do anything other than Dragapult. I kind of like the idea of Sneasler Metagross because Metagross is really good into a lot of their mons other than their Gambit, but that's fine. I think Ninetales and Garchomp are also like really good brings. I don't really need the Magmar too much. If they lead Archaludon, they're pretty much forced to, if they want to do damage, just go for Electroshot. But I could also switch into the Ninetales on the Electroshot. And that means that they're pinned because I can go for like a Stomping Tantrum into a Freeze Dry follow up the following turn and then be in a completely good situation. So let's see what they decide to go for. Pelipper Archaludon leads, all right. Versus the Sneasler Metagross. I also do have Focus Sash on my Sneasler if I really, really want to. I have a few options. I like the idea of just... I want to Fake Out Coach or do I want to just go Ninetales? I think Ninetales is always correct, but they also have Flash Cannon access. If I lose the Ninetales immediately, how bad is it? Not really, I think. Because then I get Sneasler in and then I threaten the coaching. So let's go for a Stomping Tantrum into the Archaludon and let's just go for a swap here. Kind of worry about Fake Out too. Like, this is an interesting situation, but I feel like this might be Hurricane into a... I think this could be Hurricane coming out from the Pelipper, which is fine. And then Stomping Tantrum will do a lot to Archaludon, and if it is like the Choice Spec set, then I don't have to worry about it too much. I also hit it super effectively with Stomping Tantrum, which is nice. We are going to see a Tera come out for my opponent. This should be the Electroshots coming in later. Yep, Tera Electric. Okay, beautiful. So we prevent it from go unless the Pelipper has Rain Dance. If they go for Rain Dance and they change the team, beautiful play. But they do have Hurricane. They did just go for it into the Ninetales. That's a 2-hit KO, which is not great for me. All right. So they could gamble the next turn, but I think this is all right. Yeah, they have to charge up. We go for the Stomping Tantrum into the Archaludon. Not as much damage as I actually would have liked, but if it's Choice Specs, it would go down to Blizzard. Do I want to risk it? Not really. Garchomp's just such a safe play here. They're going to retreat the Pelipper, which makes sense. Into what? Dragapult. This is where it can get tricky. This is where it can get tricky. I think Freeze Dry probably KOs the Archaludon, but I'm not 100%. It's never melt ice, but I guess it's not guaranteed. Electroshot into the Garchomp. Okay. I mean, if it's Dragon Arts, I could just Terra Steel the Garchomp and be in a fine spot because I can Freeze Dry. Actually, I should Freeze Dry here, right? I think there's no downside to Freeze Drying the Dragapult and going for the Terra with Stomping into the Archaludon. I really think Archaludon should switch out, though. That's the thing. I think Archaludon should switch out. You know what? I'm going to Freeze Dry the Dragapult, and I'm just going to protect the Garchomp because their plays are switching out the Dragapult into Pelipper, which means, sure, I probably lose the Ninetales, but they also lose the Pelipper to the Freeze Dry, and then I can Terra Steel the Garchomp safely. So this still works out for me. Like, I thought they could have also switched out the Archaludon into the Dragapult, which is what I thought was going to be coming out, but this works out perfectly well. Yeah, this works out perfectly well for me, so I'm okay with this. They go for Electro Shot. That's gonna KO my Ninetales, but now I just get in a free switch to my Metagross, and Metagross is gonna be in a good spot to go for Heavy Slam. Yeah, like we are gonna lose our Ninetales, but Ninetales was okay going down there. Let me think about this a bit more. I think Metagross is always a bring because I don't want Sneasler to lose the Focus Sash. What I think is the threat in the back? Quavel? Probably, right? Because Heavy Slam should knock out the Dragapult, or at least put it in a Bullet Punch range. Terra-wise, I'm always tearing the Garchomp. They could go for... Would you Dragon Darts or would you Phantom Force here? You know what? I'm going to Stomping Tantrum the Archaludon. I'm going to Tera... what am I going for here? I have a few options, but it really just depends. Because it really just depends on if Archaludon's... Who's in the back for them. If it's Rillaboom, I don't really care too much. I think I'm going to Heavy Slam and I'm going to Stomping. I don't think there's too many downsides to this, because Stomping is going to do a lot of damage to whatever the Archaludon goes out into, unless it's Rillaboom, but we have a Sneasler still in the back, and it's against a Metagross and then a Tera Steel Garchomp, so I shouldn't worry about that too much. If it was King Gambit, it's taking Stomping Tantrum, which is a lot of damage anyway, so I think we're okay. They go for Dragon Arts too. Perfect. So I should be able to get a Stomping Tantrum off into the Archaludon, and then a Heavy Slam into the Dragapult should put in range of Bullet Punch. So Archaludon goes down. Excellent. Like, I had to think about, is there a way they can maneuver the switch? Because they're going to be locked into a move with Dragapult, and Archaludon's locked into Electro Shot. I got to make sure Electro Shot doesn't fire off here. But I wanted to know if I could cover for like a better position, like no matter who they switched into. But there was like too many variables with what they had in the back. King Gambit's the final Pokemon, but I should win this game now because I can go for a Bullet Punch in the Dragapult, and I also have Sneasler in the back. So we'll go for Bullet Punch. We'll go for a Stomping Tantrum. We'll double up the Dragapult slot. Actually, there's no way Bullet Punch is a KO Dragapult. I'm just going to Stomping Tantrum to King Gambit. And if they go for Protect, it's fine because Bullet Punch should knock out the Dragapult. Like, it should be locked in their Dragon Darts, and that should have been game anyway, but you know, like Sneasler always just wins against King Gambit that can't Terra anyway, so might as well just go for that. So finish off the Dragapult. Stomping Tantrum gonna fail into the Protect of the King Gambit, and now we can just go for a double up power of double Stomping Tantrum, and there is nothing my opponent can really do. Sure, they could Sucker Punch, maybe KO the Metagross, but we also, again, Sneasler's in the back, so we're not really too worried, and they know that, so the battle's going to be forfeited there. So, nice. Really, really just, I think, even though we got a few turns wrong, we did get a few turns right, and I feel like our rights were way more important there because we were able to get, like, the KOs, right? Like, getting rid of the Pelipper. Like, trading Pelipper for Ninetales was completely fine because Pelipper was just annoying. Like, I didn't want the Hurricane variants coming into play, and the fact that it was just threatening the Sneasler, while the Archaludon didn't, like, the fact that they didn't have Tailwind support, I think, for their team was really important because Archaludon was the big offensive threat. Sure, the Dragapult was a bit annoying, but like, it can only lock in either Phantom Force, which takes multiple turns, which means I can attack the other slot, or if they go for Dragon Darts, I had just resistances around the board with Terra, right? So I don't think it was too big of a threat. Game in the back, that's why I had the Sneasler still around with the Focus Sash just to be a safety to it. Like, it was good into Rillaboom too, and then yeah, there wasn't really much I think they had. Sneasler, Como, Dragonite, Murkrow, Sarilege, King Gambit. Alright, so double fighting, which should be pretty acceptable. The King Gambit and Sarilege are a bit of some big threats. We do have Metagross, which can put in a lot of work against this team. Sneasler's pretty good. I like the Metagross. Do I like the Garchomp? It's pretty strong in this matchup. They have a lot of weaks to Garchomp in general. Ninetales is good against Como, but we're probably going to be forced into Terra anyway. It's probably going to be like Terra Fire, so I probably don't need it because Metagross can force Terra. I like the idea of Sneasler lead. I think Sneasler's pretty strong with Metagross because if they want a Tailwind, I could probably Coaching Heavy Slam them turn one and probably knocks out Murkrow realistically. So think I'll try it. And then in the back, I think I want Magmar for the redirection. And I think Garchomp's really good. I don't really like King Gambit here by itself because they have a lot of dark resistances. Ninetales isn't too bad, but again, I expect Ceruledge, and I think Como might be coming with the Tera Fire. And if that's the case, I don't really like it too much. So let's go with those 4 and try it out. I think a lot of this can come down to the Ceruledge. How well do I play against Ceruledge? And what Tera is it too? Because that's also a big question. If it's Tera Grass, might be a bit tricky. But at least we can redirect the attacks with the Magmar. So let's see. Gonna be the combination of Sneasler King Gambit. Okay. So Sneasler King Gambit versus Sneasler Metagross. I don't think this is too bad of a lead here. We do have Fake Out. We're gonna go for Fake Out into the King Gambit slot, and we're just gonna go for a... Do I Psychic Fangs immediately, or do I just Heavy Slam? I probably just... How heavy is Sneasler? I feel like Sneasler's not that... I feel like I could just Heavy Slam the Sneasler. I'm gonna go for it. If they go for a coaching, that's okay, because I can mash a coaching. Fake Out, I mean, we're max speed. If they're max speed, it's just a speed tie, which is probably okay in the long term. I like the idea of threatening the Heavy Slam, because if they go into Murkrow for the Sneasler for like a haze situation, I think this works. We're gonna see a Tera come out, which is interesting, from the King Gambit. Oh, is this Tera Ghost King Gambit? I forgot that's an option. Okay, it's just Tera Flying. That is much easier to deal with. I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, Tera Flying on the King Gambit. As we get a Fake Out off into the King Gambit. Coaching is going to come out. Okay, so that's not like too surprising here. All right. And we get a Heavy Slam off into Sneasler, which should put it into Focus Sash range. Yep, perfect. Okay, that's a pretty good turn because I can go for my own coaching, and I can go for a Bullet Punch as well as a Tera on my side, because Tera is actually still pretty good. Yeah, because I don't need my Tera on any of these Pokemon realistically. Maybe the Garchomp, but we will go for our own coaching with our Metagross. We're going to go for our Tera. We're going to go for Tera Flying to avoid the Dark weakness, and we'll Bullet Punch the Sneasler. So this is a really nice way we can play around the Sneasler. We can play around Sucker Punch on the King Gambit and get our own coaching. So the Metagross is now boosted up and can do a lot. And then we can stack another coaching, which is nice. So Metagross will go for the Tera. Going to be that Tera Flying. All right. I don't think I need my Steel typing for too much otherwise. So let's see how much damage we're doing. Sneasler reveals Protect, but that's okay because I can stack more coaching boosts, and the Sneasler not really threatening too much here on the board as we do go for the Bullet Punch. This is probably Kowtow into what was the Metagross, but with that coaching boost, we'll be matching up to this King Gambit. So that is very nice. Gonna be Kowtow into the Metagross, which we are able to tank extremely well. Nice. I could see them swapping here on the Bullet Punch. If they have Ceruledge, I could definitely see it coming out because they would lose Sneasler for not much here. I think my best play might be to go for the King Gambit slot. I think it's probably... I don't know if Heavy Slam does more to King Gambit because I'm not familiar with the weights. I think I'll just go for Psychic Fangs in the Gambit. If they go for the attacks with Sneasler, it's not too bad. If they go for coaching, we just match the coachings again, which is not awful for me. So I'll go for the coaching into a Psychic Fangs here. Because they got to watch out, right? Because I could Bullet Punch and coaching myself. I feel like they probably want to reposition immediately into like a Ceruledge or something. Yeah, they switch out the Sneasler, which is what I expected. Murkrow could be coming out, which is what I would anticipate. Or Ceruledge. Yep, exactly. So looking pretty good here as I will be able to get a Psychic Fangs and coaching. And this is +2 Psychic Fangs into the King Gambit, which is going to be really nice. Yeah, really good damage. And Tera Blast, Tera Flying into Sneasler, I guess? Okay. So that is pretty good for me. That is pretty good. I think I always want to target Gambit slot, so I'm just going to go for coaching again. If they have Shadow Sneak, that's all right. Yeah, if they have Shadow Sneak, it's fine. I could also go into Garchomp or Metagross, which is also a decent response. Do I need Sneasler around? No, it doesn't really do too much, I think, in this game. I think I'm just going to coaching because if they make the mistake and try to go for a bulk up or I ignore the Sneasler, I just get the KO on the King Gambit. So I think I'm just going to go for the coaching and I'm going to go for the Psychic Fangs once again in the King Gambit. Because then when the Cerulege response is over, like, if they go for Shadow Sneak and the Sneasler, they KO the Sneasler, I get the Psychic Fangs damage off. I think the King Gambit's in Bullet Punch range afterward, and then I can bring out my Garchomp, and I can just go for Earthquakes. And yeah, if they don't Shadow Sneak, I'm in a great spot, because I think they're probably going aggressively against the Metagross here. The Psychic Fangs, I don't know if it's knocked out the Gambit. We'll see. They go for Bulk Up, which is fine, because they don't have Tera anymore, so that's a really big deal. So they go for the Bulk Up as we get a Psychic Fangs off into the King Gambit, and we are able to pick up the knockout. So beautiful. They couldn't Sucker Punch my Sneasler, and they, first of all, had to have the Shadow Sneak in the first place. If they didn't have the Shadow Sneak, they couldn't stop my coaching option. So we'll see who comes out now. It's Como. Okay. And I am just gonna go for a coaching once again into the Metagross. I don't see a reason not to. And a Psychic Fangs into the Como. Como's the biggest threat. If I let Como set up, it's really bad. I think Garchomp can win the end game now that I have already gotten rid of the Terramon. So looking pretty solid so far. This Metagross is looking so demonic for them. They cannot stop the Metagross. Like, it is just going to be clearing up the shop. And another coaching boost on top of this. Ooh, it's not looking good for my opponent. Let's see. Gonna be playing Scales, which makes sense. Does a lot to my Metagross, but I think with all the boosts, I'd be shocked if the Cerulege KOs here. Poltergeist. Maybe this does. Bitter Blade probably wouldn't have. Oh, Metagross, so good. Here comes the Psychic Fangs. Goodbye, Como. And that is a wrap right there. Oh, that's incredible. And now we can go out into our Garchomp. We threaten the Earthquake against this team. And we can go for an Earthquake plus a... I'm going to Earthquake Stomping Tantrum because if the Sneasler fakes out the Garchomp... Actually... I gotta think about this, actually. I gotta think about this. Because Poltergeist actually makes this a bit scary because, like, there's an option that they could fake out Metagross. I go for Earthquake. Actually, no, this is not as easy as I would say it is. I think I'm going to protect the Garchomp and I'm going to go out into Magmar. It should be fake out into Metagross and a Poltergeist into the Garchomp slot. The reason I'm going for this play around is because now that I know it's not Shadow Sneak on the Cerulege, Bullet Punch always just threatens the Sneasler. I need to... Oh, they protect Sneasler. Oh, right. It's not fake out. Oh, I had the game locked. I should have Earthquake Stomping. Oh, well. They go for Bitter Blade, but I mean, that's acceptable, actually. No, that works. Okay. So I did kind of mess up there because I completely forgot they had Protect coaching. But I think I'm okay. Question mark. Wait, that was actually kind of a mistake. I think, yeah, that was definitely a mistake. I'm gonna go for Stomping in the Cerulege and Follow Me, I guess. That's just kind of annoying. Granted, I think I could still easily win this endgame. It just depends on how much Stomping does to Cerulege at +2. Oh, they go for Dire Claw. I would have coachinged if I was them. Okay, no, that works out. So I do get the Stomping Tantrum off into Cerulege. Oh, I do way too much. Even though that was +1, yeah, I win the game now. So I go for Poltergeist into the Magmar. Gonna go through the Violet, but yeah. So yeah, that was a mistake. I completely forgot that it was Protect coaching on Sneasler, which meant it probably didn't have Fake Out. And because it didn't have Fake Out, like I could have just went for an Earthquake plus a Stomping Tantrum, or I could have just went for Bullet Punch plus the Stomping, because then I could have just redirected with Magmar with the Metagross because they don't have spread moves, and then just finish off the Cerulege that way. So definitely a mistake there on my part, but either way, I'm still in a game-winning position because I can Bullet Punch a Sneasler and Earthquake, and it just covers everything that they can do. I just was worried about, like, oh, Sneasler has Fake Out there, faked out the Metagross, then I go for the Earthquake. The Cerulege probably hangs on, and then Poltergeist knocks out my Garchomp, and then Magmar can't beat the Cerulege because it's Flash Fire. So that's why I was, like, playing a bit scared there. But because it didn't have Fake Out on the Sneasler, we forgot to reveal both Protect and Coaching in the earlier turns. I could have literally just went for like Bullet Punch Stomping. I could have went for Earthquake Stomping, which would have also worked. But yeah. Although I still think my play is probably okay, actually, now that I think about it, because there was a world where they did Dire Claw that slot and go for the Poltergeist. And again, the win conditions Garchomp and or Metagross. So I think it was still okay, but definitely not too sure. I'd have to think a bit more on that, but I'm pretty sure that my play is still fine, actually. Though I could have still been pretty bad. We go for Stomping plus Earthquake. I think the fact that they went for a Dire Claw, but then again, it looked like I was going to two-shot with Stomping Tantrum anyway, so it didn't matter. That was going to be forfeited. Nice. Good work, Metagross. Good work. Was really able to destroy their team. Like, they did not have a counter response to Metagross, but you know, we take it. Gengar with Annihilate, Whimsicott, Incineroar, Amoonguss, and Garchomp. Double Grass, double Ghosts. The Ghosts are actually kind of scary because I don't have the best answers to the Ghosts. I do really like Metagross though. Garchomp's really strong here. Metagross is actually really good here. Yeah, Terra Flying is really good here. Okay. I think I'm going to do either Sneasler Metagross or Garchomp plus Metagross. I think Sneasler Metagross is pretty strong. I love the Garchomp. If I get the tools right, and then what's the back? Magmar is not terrible. Could be the Alolan Ninetales. I'm not sure if it's worth it. I feel like I Terra the Metagross, so this is going to be weaker to the, what's it called? The Annihilate mode. So I think it's might be the Magmar. Also, having a Spore Switch is beautiful. Having a Spore Switch is beautiful. Let's bring the Magmar. The only thing is we're a bit weak to their own Garchomp. But if I get a Coaching up and I get to... I mean, the thing is, if I get a good position with my Metagross, I don't really care about Amoonguss. I don't really care about the Garchomp because Garchomp can't do anything to a +1 Metagross with Terra Flying. I hope this is not going to be out of context where I'm going to see like a Terra Electric, Terra Blast or something. We're going to see Garchomp Gengar come out. So this is a really ideal lead as I lead the Metagross plus the Sneasler off the bat. I'm going to go for Coaching immediately, and I'm just going to go for a... I guess a Stomping into the Gengar. If they go for Protect Earthquake, that's okay. If they have Protect, I don't know if Gengar runs Protect. They sometimes run... Like, Gengar probably wants what? Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball. Oh, I guess if it's a Wisp, that's not great. If it's a Wisp, it's not great. I can see the Garchomp protecting, but we'll see. We'll see. My Terra goes off first, it looks like, so they didn't Terra here. It's not going to be Terra Flying Gengar. If I want any move disabled, it's going to be the Stomping Tantrum and not Heavy Slam or Psychic Fangs, which are really important damage. Okay, Scarf Gengar. Good to know. So I do go for the Coaching with my Sneasler into the Metagross. Scarf Gengar is interesting. Okay. Get the defense boost. They go for Stomping Tantrum into Sneasler, sure. So Sneasler goes down, but this Stomping Tantrum is going to fire off into the Gengar and pick up that knockout. Life Orb on the Garchomp confirmed, but it can't do anything to Metagross anymore. Here comes that Stomping. Goodbye, Gengar. And Gengar goes down. Excellent. Excellent start. Let's see who is coming out next. Who is going to be brought out next? But that Stomping was really good into the Gengar, picking up that knockout. The Garchomp, I'm not too concerned about. We're going to see Amoonguss. Coaching. Psychic Fangs. The Amoonguss. I don't think I fear the Amoonguss. Yeah, I just don't think I fear the Amoonguss. If they Terra, that's okay, because this could be Terra Water or... Yeah, it could be Terra Water, which is why... Like, Psychic Fangs is still always the right play, right? Because Heavy Slam is not doing as much damage. We're going to see that Terra Water. Okay. Here comes a Coaching once again into the Metagross. How much does the Psychic Fangs do? I probably don't KO the Amoonguss, but I'll do a lot of damage. They actually Life Orb attack the Metagross, which is surprising to me. I thought they would always go for the Sneasler, but I get a huge amount of damage to that Amoonguss. Gonna activate the Citrus Berry, but you know what? I'm okay with that. The Spore? Or are they going to go for Clear Smog? They do Spore. Sneasler? Oh, they expected a switch. Wait, that works out amazing for me. I guess I'm going to set up for Magmar to come in. So I have Follow Me redirection next to the Metagross. With Psychic Fangs, that was Citrus Berry. I think Stomping Tantrum is always the right play because there's a chance they go out into Incineroar if they have it. So I always Stomping Tantrum the Amoonguss, I think. I think Stomping Tantrum KOs the Amoonguss at this range, but it might be close. This might be a bit greedy, but I really want to catch Incineroar. If they do have Incineroar, Magmar will come out. They do retreat the Amoonguss. Like, I don't think you're sacking whatever is like a... If it's a Annihilape, I don't think... Yeah, it's a Incineroar. Perfect. Excellent. So they don't have Fake Out Dragon Claw pressure into Metagross because they could like Dragon Claw here, then Fake Out Dragon Claw might get me. So they can't do that. Assuming I get the KO on Incineroar, of course. Good damage across the board. Here comes the Stomping Tantrum into the Incineroar. Really good damage still. Like, we'll gladly take that. I think I go for... You're going to Fake Out Magmar and you're going to go for Dragon Claw again, right? I think it just depends on if you actually KO. I'm going to Psychic Fangs the Garchomp and I'm going to Follow Me. Yeah. Because that means they can't Fake Out and Dragon Claw the Metagross at the same time. So let's see if this Dragon Claw actually picks up the knockout. It does not, so I get rid of Garchomp, and because I got rid of Garchomp, I'm pretty sure I just win the game with the combination of Magmar next to my own Garchomp, so yeah. Goodbye, Garchomp, and that is a very, very good turn. Very good turn. Goodbye, Metagross. But you have done the job I needed to do, which is secure this endgame, because Garchomp should always win next to Magmar, because I can go for an Earthquake pretty safely. And then the Amoonguss is not too big of a factor. Maybe the Incineroar is protected. The Incineroar is protected. Maybe they have a chance. But it's still really likely. They need to have Protect Incineroar now or they just guarantee lose. They're going to forfeit. So I assume they don't have Protect Incineroar. And that is game. They could have followed me Dragon Claw, but then they get a knockoff. I mean, there are so many ways I could probably win that end game. But yep, that's the power of Metagross. That is the power of Metagross. Dugong, Flamigo, Gothitelle, Gengar, Rillaboom, and Incineroar. I don't know the order of what I am uploading episode-wise, but I have played this team several times. It is a Perish Song team with Dugong alongside Life Orb, Rillaboom. I think the Incineroar is a Assault Vest on this team. Okay, I don't have any Tera Ghost, so that's actually kind of annoying because I would love... Actually... Wait, can Shadow Tag switch out of Trapping from Fire Spin? I know they could switch out of other Shadow Tags. Man, I wish I could Fire Spin trap the Gothitelle. That would be so nice. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. I think then my plan is to go with Sneasler plus Metagross. I think is pretty fair for the most part. I don't have to worry about the Flamigo to threaten King Gambit. I think in the back, Magmar doesn't do too much here. I think it's probably Garchomp, King Gambit. We're going to go on the offense for sure. Gotta watch out about the Rillaboom, which is probably the biggest threat to my team realistically, but I should be okay. Especially with Fake Out support from my Sneasler coaching option. The Intimidate's not lowering my attack on the Metagross. Heavy Slam should do some good damage to Dugong. I know that Dugong's really physically defensive, but it's Tera Fairy. Gothitelle plus the... Okay, Gothitelle plus the Dugong. I'm going to Fake Out the Dugong, and I'm just going to go for a Heavy Slam into the Gothitelle. Yes. I want the damage into Gothitelle. They have Fake Out support on both Pokemon. I have coaching, which is pretty good for the combo. The Dugong has to respect close combat. I wonder if they switch out the Dugong and protect Gothitelle, which isn't great. It depends, because this This Gothitelle has some weird moveset. I think it's Fake Out, Rain Dance, Protect, and Helping Hand, I think it was Helping Hand, but maybe I'm wrong on that one. All right, no Protects. They probably faked out and perished. Yeah. You know what's funny? I get a boosted Stomping Tantrum here. I do get a boosted Stomping Tantrum. Wait, I forgot it was... Why did I forget that, man? Why did I forget that? I forgot it's Cobra Cloak. Okay, I can play out of this, but that's still really silly of a play that I did. All right. I'm going for the coaching, and I'm going to go for Stomping Tantrum into the Dugong to try and catch a switch into maybe the Incineroar. Because they might go for the Protect Gothitelle and flip turn strat so they could get a fake out the next turn. That was so silly. I completely forgot it was Cobra Cloak. They go for Protect. This is probably double Protect, which is fine. Yeah, okay. I wonder if +2 coaching would get the Gothitelle. That I'm curious on. So I get a coaching off with the Metagross. I think I want a Dire Claw Heavy Slam, or I want to go for coaching Heavy Slam into Gothitelle. I have no idea if I'm KOing the Gothitelle with Dire Claw Heavy Slam, but I think it's worth the risk here. Oh, but the Dugong is just going to Tera flip turn back, right? I think it's faster than Metagross. I guess that's a question. You know, I'm going to coaching and I'm going to Heavy Slam the Dugong. There should be Gothitelle switching out into like Incineroar potentially, and the Dugong's going to probably flip turn here with a Tera, I think, for the close combat. Gothitelle's going to retreat. Yep, Incineroar. Or Rillaboom, either one works. It is the Incineroar, okay. I have Garchomp in the back, so I'm not too worried about Incineroar. And thankfully with that clear body, they can't really focus me down. They're going to go for no Tera, but I guess that makes sense. They were probably hoping that Sneasler would be able to, with the Intimidate, they'd be able to live. Oh, wait. Don't get the KO. You got to flip turn off into the Sneasler. I mean, the Dugong's low, though. That's the thing. Dugong is low. So Gothitelle has to come in. There's fake outs across the board. Are they going to double fake out? I think they double fake out. Yeah, I just didn't have anything for the trapping, so I had to get like the reads right. I did not get the reads right, unfortunately. Also, I just completely forgot. I could have faked out. I could have just faked out the Gothitelle and went for a Heavy Slam and got damage off turn 1. And that would have actually really been impactful against the Dugong. All right, let's go for close combat and let's go for Stomping Tantrum, I guess. This should be double fake out. Unless they want to position it differently. But we are going to see fake out into the Sneasler and fake out into the Metagross. Okay. The thing is that they're reliant on this being their end game. It might not be awful for me. Because the Dugong, I'm just not going to allow them to get Dugong. I got to prevent Dugong from coming in and getting to perish. That's the thing. If they get Dugong in and have a position where they can perish, that's where it gets rough. So we're going to go Garchomp and we're going to go King Gambit. Tera-wise, I think I'm going to Tera my King Gambit to Flying. And Sword Stance up. So let's go for an Earthquake and let's go for a Sword Stance with Tera Flying. I could Kowtow immediately, but I don't think Gothitelle gives itself up like that. I think it's probably like an Incineroar or a Rillaboom switch, maybe a Protect. They can't sack the Dugong, I think, because I think if they sack the Dugong, they just lose. But let's see. I'm just going to make sure that Dugong can't come in freely while they have fake out pressure on the board, because if they do, then they can perish. But if they do get that, I do need to make if they do that, it might be okay if I'm able to get like a 2 knockout situation. So let's see. Incineroar's going to retreat. Rillaboom? Yeah, Rillaboom. Okay. So we will Tera our King Gambit. I think maybe the Tera was a bit too much right here, but it should still be okay. Go for the Tera flying. We'll get a Source Dance up. Gothitelle probably protecting, right? I guess I could have Dragon Claw Kowtow the Rillaboom, but I think this is okay. Ooh, wait, they attacked with Gothitelle. Where are they going for? Okay. What are you going for? Oh, Heal Pulse in the Rillaboom. That's fine, actually. I can't let them get a Heal Pulse off into the... I can't let them get a Heal Pulse off, though, into the Dugong. So I think I just always Kowtow the Rillaboom. I can afford to protect, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I can afford to protect here. So I'm going to go for... there's so much that they could do here. I'm going to go for a Kowtow into the Rillaboom and protect the Garchomp. They're going to retreat the Gothitelle. Is this Incineroar coming in? Okay, it depends on what you do. Do you fake out? Do you protect? Because I was like trying to figure out, okay, I thought Incineroar Switch was going to come out the next turn because I thought it was protect this turn. But let's see what they did here. Did they fake out the Rila? They faked out the Gambit. I was worried about the Woodhammer. I think I need a double protect with Garchomp or I just lose to the Rila. Yeah, I think I have to go for a double protect because I know this is Life Orb on the Rila. Actually, wait, it's Grassy Glide, right? It has to be Grassy Glide, right? It's like Grassy Glide. If it's Grassy Glide, it might not KO the Garchomp, I suppose. That might be my option here. Gonna go for Stormy Tantrum and Kowtow, I guess. Because I know your Terra Ground Reel of high horsepower. I just don't remember if you had Woodhammer or your Grassy Glide. I don't think I ever saw it. Rillaboom retreating into Gothitelle? Okay, they're playing really, really defensive right here, which is interesting. Gonna get a Fake Out off into King Gambit, sure. I do get a Stomping Tantrum off into the Incineroar slot for really huge damage, actually. That's very nice. They're giving me outs. They're giving me outs. I think I'm going to Dragon Claw the Rillaboom, the Incineroar slot, and I'm just going to Kowtow the Incineroar slot too, because I'm pretty sure it doesn't have Protect. Like if they fake out with Gothitelle, like I get a Dragon Claw off, I'm pretty sure, like are they going to go in a Rillaboom here? Like I don't see what they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to intimidate the Garchomp enough. If they try to switch in, I'm not giving them an opportunity to get Dugong in for the Heal Pulse. Incineroar retreats. I'm assuming this is Rillaboom. Yep. They go for Fake Out. Get a Dragon Claw off and a Rillaboom. I get some chip. You know what? I think they might try to go for the... Are you going to go for the Heal Pulse play? I'm just trying to figure out. Like, I've been waiting for the Heal Pulse play this entire time to get into Dugong. This might be the opportunity to try to do it. I'm just going to Kowtow and Dragon Claw. Or are they trying to timer stall me? Because maybe that's their goal. They're trying to timer stall for this Fake Out endgame because they really don't have the best answer to King Gambit at the moment. It's like if they protect and play around, I still think I'm in an okay spot. Gothitelle gonna retreat and Incineroar back in? Incineroar back in, sure. Like you really gotta respect this King Gambit. Like look at these boosts, man. They go for Fake Out and King Gambit again. They are taking quite a bit of chip damage from their own Life Orb. Dragon Claw going to come out into Rila. Like, here's the thing. The Rila's in Dragon Claw range now. I think we're okay. I actually think we're okay because they don't really have much utility left. Grassy Terrain disappears from the field too, so they don't have a priority Grassy Glide or anything. Do I want an Earthquake? Because they might go Gothitelle. I think I Earthquake here, and I'm going to Kowtow the Rillaboom. Because I can see Gothitelle coming in for the Real slot, which they are. Yep. So I get the damage into the Incineroar. They have to fake out my... They have to fake out my... What's it called? My King Gambit they want. Okay, they go for a Tera here. With Incineroar. What Tera are you? Water is fine. Are you going for fake out? If you go for fake out, I just get a Kowtow. Yeah, like this is getting a bit repetitive. And I mean very, very repetitive. Here comes Earthquake. We flinch. I just don't see how they're playing around this right now. Leftovers. I just get a Dragon Claw into Incineroar, and I'm pretty sure I get a Kowtow into Incineroar as well. So we're gonna go for a Dragon Claw and a Kowtow into the Incineroar slot because it pins every single switch they can go for. Incineroar goes down, Rillaboom goes down, Dewgong goes down. All their Pokemon are weakened for Dragon Claw range. I'm not Earthquaking because that's a choke if they go Rillaboom here. They're just super struggling here. They do retreat to Incineroar, so something's going down. I'm pretty sure I get the KO on any of their Pokemon. Dewgong, I think they're hoping to live the -2 attack. No, there's no shot they live. All right, they get a fake out into King Gambit, but guess what? I do get a Dragon Claw off into the Dewgong and pick up the knockout. Yeah, now what? They're like, yeah, now what? I think we're in really good shape here. If it's Rillaboom coming out, I'm going to click Dragon Claw. And if it's Incineroar coming out, I'm kind of curious on how much boost we have with our King Gambit, but yeah. Let's go for a Dragon Claw into the King Gambit or into the Incineroar. I wonder if we KO'd a Rillaboom because we're like at -3 at this point, but I think we do. I have Protect. I never revealed it this entire time. No, I shouldn't Protect this turn. If I Protect, it's probably on the next turn. Okay, they retreat the Gothitelle into the Rillaboom, which is fine. Yeah, they just fake out. I guess they're trying to go for fake out and a Grassy Glide KOing my King Gambit, and then they're gonna try to Dragon Claw clean up the end game. Or yeah, they're gonna go for fake out and then Grassy Glide. The thing is, if you fake out with Rillaboom, I think the Life Orb chip puts you in range of the Dragon Claw. So I think I Dragon Claw the Rillaboom always here, and I think I go for a Kowtow into the Gothitelle. They fake out the King Gambit. They're probably going to go for the Heal Pulse into the Rila, right? So I Dragon Claw the Rila. Yeah, I pick up the knockout. Does Gothitelle have an attack? I think I needed the Life Orb chip, so I don't think I could afford to Protect. Did they not have Psychic? I thought they did. Nope, they went for the Heal Pulse. Yep, I win. I think. Well, it was fake out, Heal Pulse. Oh yeah, it is Rain Dance. So yeah, they don't have Psychic. Okay, I just win. I just win. They can't timer stall. I'm gonna be forfeit. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. The first couple turns were not well played by me, especially just because I forgot about the Covert Cloak. But their endgame position was just so weird. Also with Metagross outspeeding the Dewgong, I was not expecting that. So I was able to actually get the Heavy Slam damage because that's actually better for me because then Perish isn't like too big of a threat. Because they just never could get the... I was never letting them get the Dewgong in for free under Heal Pulse situations or Fake Out plus Perish endgame. And I kept targeting around it, and it ended up working out because they had no way to damage the King Gambit. They kept going for this passive fake out play, which was funny. Like, the Gambit must be so annoyed at that point, but you know what? The Garchomp was like, yeah, it's like that shaking, or it's like the shark in the grassy terrain, just like, it'll catch you. the fins. You don't see them coming, but it strikes. And that's what Garchomp did. Ursaluna slacking with Dondozo, Tatsugiri, Fortress, and Wheezing. I am not sure what to think here, but okay. Now, the downside to this team is this team doesn't exactly have the best Dondozo answers because we rely heavily on coaching strats. But it's a lot harder to utilize against this team. But I will lead Sneasler Garchomp. We need the Ninetales. Ninetales is so important to this game. And I mean so important to this game. Last Pokemon? I'm not sure. I feel like it's Metagross because I still need offensive precedence against Tatsugiri because the Pokemon I'm going to have are going to take a lot of damage and then I'm going to have like nothing against Tatsugiri. So Metagross is probably to bring. But I'm not 100% certain on this. Tera-wise, I have no clue who's going to Tera. It might be the Sneasler. It could be the Ninetales because of the freeze dry power into the Dozo. The Dozo is going to be super rough to deal with because I think this team doesn't have the best Dozo matchup, but we'll see. Lead-wise, going to be Fortress Wheezing. What am I expecting here? What am I going to expect here? Oh, is this just... Well, I'm going to fake out the Fortress. And I'm going to Stomping Tantrum the Fortress as well, I suppose. Because I think it might be hazards. The Weezing's going to protect. I'm pretty sure Fortress is just actually going to go for an attack this turn. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Nice. I am able to get a Stomping Tantrum off into the Fortress. I get a crit, which is actually nice. I didn't need the crit, but that definitely is nice. Okay, great. That means no hazards are set up on the Fortress, which is actually important for my Ninetales being able to break through this team. Let's go for a Tera Flying, I think, with the coaching and go for a Earthquake. This is probably either going to be a double swap into Dondozo Tatsugiri, or this is going to be... Like, here's the thing. Even though we got the crit, I'm pretty sure that I was going to set it up for an Earthquake +1 coaching afterward to take the knockout Fortress. That was my goal here. So, the crit just makes it guaranteed, but I think it would have still been a pretty likely position where I was still able to knock out the Fortress anyway. But now I can just go for the coaching plus the Earthquake safely. And yeah, their response is pretty little in response. We are going to go for the Tera here with our Sneasler so we can avoid taking the Earthquakes effectively. Sure, I could have Terra'd the... I could say Tera for the Ninetales, but if I get rid of these Pokemon as the lead, I think it's a really big advantage. All right, no protects. No protects. Free coaching. Free coaching. And an Earthquake. Should be getting a knockout into both. It wasn't Air Balloon, right? On the Weezing. Yeah, it wasn't. So +1, Life Orb, Earthquake. One shots both the Weezing and takes the KO into the Fortress. And now it's Dondozo by itself. And we're in a very good spot. Neutralizing Gas wears off. So Poison Touch is active on the Sneasler, so I can actually go for Poison Touch Dire Claw into the Dozo, unless they have like Covert Cloak. But we're in a pretty good spot. Here comes the Dozo and the Tatsugiri. Do I ever save the Garchomp? At this point, not really. I just need a free switch into my Ninetales so I can start clicking Freeze Dry. Granted, they could have like a Tera on the Dozo that's like Steel. But that's okay. So we're just going to fire off some Dire Claws. We're going to go for a Stomping Tantrum into this. We Stomping Tantrum? No, we just... Well, we Dire Claw, we go for Earthquake. I don't think there's a reason to Stomping Tantrum here. Dire Claw? Wow, that did nothing to Dozo. That Dozo's slow. It's slower than my Garchomp. Yeah, this is some stalled Dozo. Probably body press stuff. Yeah, I'm like not doing any damage to that Dozo. Avalanche. Okay. Sure. They're getting rid of the Sneasler because of Dire Claw stuff. It is leftovers on the Dozo, which is not too surprising. Okay. They know I'm fake out coaching, so they're always targeting the Sneasler. I don't think they ever target the Garchomp in response, so I might as well... Is there a real... No, there's no reason to really switch into Ninetales. I think I just go for a Stomping Tantrum. No, I go for Earthquake again. No reason not to. Fire Claw and the Dozo. We finally get a status. It's Para, which is nice. Not like crazy, but does help out here. We are going to be able to go for an Earthquake into the Dozo. And again, we're just building up this damage for the late game. Avalanche, they target down the Garchomp. Perfectly fine. They take rough skin damage from the Avalanche, which is nice as well. Garchomp goes down. I get a free switch to Ninetales. I think I'm going to set up a Roar Veil if they decide to, hey, I'm going to play passive here. Just don't have Heavy Slam, but I'm assuming on this set it's probably Avalanche, Wave Crash, Body Press. Maybe they have Earthquake in one of the slots, but that's okay. Just go out into Ninetales, click Aurora Veil, and then I'm in a super safe spot. So let's go for a close combat into the Dozo. Let's set up that Aurora Veil. This also covers if they decide to Tera, because we haven't seen a Tera yet from the Dozo. So we might as well see what Tera it is. If it's Ghost, I'm going to be super upset I didn't bring Gambit. I'm going to be super upset I didn't bring Gambit. Okay, they didn't protect. I get a close combat off in the Dozo, so some free damage. And here comes an Aurora Veil. They still have to break through the paralysis. Let's see. Do they? Again, Avalanche off into Sneasler. Okay, Sneasler goes down. Sneasler's basically done his job, though, so I'm completely all right with that. Sneasler, thank you for your service. Let's bring out Metagross and let's clean up this game. We're going to go for Stomping Tantrum, and we're going to go for Freeze Dry, which should KO the Dozo, unless it Terras. The Terra's the only thing. If it has a Tera that actually is like neutral or resistant to Freeze Dry, then we might not KO. But then again, I just don't think Dozo can have much response when we have a Roar Veil set up. And again, a big thing was making sure that there were no hazards, because Ninetales was super important for damaging the Dozo. So we're going to go for Freeze Dry plus a Stomping. They probably protect now, right? They're going to protect now. Oh, they actually Tera immediately in response. Do they... If this is Rest Dozo, I'm going to actually cry now that I think about it, because I do not have a counter to Rest Dozo. All right, they go for Tera Steel. I went for the Stomping Tantrum. Am I going to get bitten back for going for the Aurora Veil when maybe I didn't absolutely need to go for Aurora Veil? Freeze Dry does no damage. Come on, Stomping Tantrum. That does nothing. Oh, if it's Rest Dozo, I'm so glad for that paralysis. And I mean so glad for the paralysis. I don't know if it's Resto. I haven't seen Rest Dozo in so long, but if it is, you know what? I'm not complaining. Let's Blizzard and go for the Stomping Tantrum. That was going to be forfeited. I don't know if it's Rest Dozo or not, but I guess that means I should have went for the Freeze Dry on the offense the previous turn. I wanted to go for the Aurora Veil again because I was expecting Protect to get leftovers, but if it was Rest, that was the thing that actually was changing the matchup. But maybe I'm overcomplicating it, but maybe it was possible. I could have seen it on this team. All right, let's go over the games. In game one, was able to isolate the Annihilate with the coaching boost onto the Garchomp, and with no Rage Fist boost on the Annihilate, was able to stack more coachings with Metagross to attack it in the end. In game two, a bit different than I thought it would go, but was able to play around the Electroshock Archaludon and take valuable trades so my Garchomp could finish off the weakened Archaludon while Metagross took care of the Dragapult. And with Focus Sash Sneasler in the back against a solo King Gambit with no Tera, it was over. In game 3, Metagross showcased how insane it could be with the coaching boost. Only questionable parts was the Sneasler next to the Cerulege, since I didn't want to risk the Poltergeist knocking out the Garchomp, so I did switch, which I still think was an okay play, or go for Bullet Punch Earthquake, which I think was better since I still got the damage into Cerulege while getting a free switch to Magmar so I could follow me the attacks and have at least one mon that could beat the Cerulege around. In game 4, Choice Scarf Gengar was interesting, but the Metagross was hard to deal with after the coaching boost. And Tera flying with the Incineroar catch with Stomping Tantrum and getting Magmar in for redirection, I was able to obtain 2 knockouts and Garchomp could win the rest. In game 5, this game was funny. If I had went for anything but a fake out into Dugong because I forgot it was Cobra Cloak, the game changes completely, like a close combat or even a fake out into Gothitelle, so the Metagross could get damaged. However, my opponent had nothing to deal with King Gambit and resorted to play passive fake out rotation strategies, which even though Garchomp was intimidated, It laid low and was able to strike, racking up massive damage onto my opponent to clutch up a 2v4 victory. In Game 6, Fortress Wheezing was a weird lead, but not a problem thanks to Fake Out alongside coaching, which led to Dondozo Tatsugiri in. Other than a potential rest set, which means I should have went for Freeze Dry instead of Aurora earlier, but was still able to get the win. I am shocked of how well the Metagross performed in this video. Like, Metagross was really good. The fact that it's just really bulky with that assault vest and the clear body preventing it from getting intimidate dropped. The coverage is not exactly the best in the world, but it was able to do a lot of what I needed to do with the coaching from Sneasler. Oh man, it was actually really good. It impressed me more than I thought it was going to. But if you do want to try out the team, there is a rental code on your screen. It's only available for a very short amount of time, so make sure you grab it while you can. Otherwise, you can check out the details of the team and the creator down below in the description. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.